Hi everyone, my name is Desiree with theastrologyaddiction.com and thank you so much for watching. Today we're going to be doing Saturn into Aquarius. This is going to start at the end of the month here in March. The beginning date is on March 23rd when Saturn ingresses into Aquarius for the first time since 1994. It was last in Aquarius 91 through 94. It went into Pisces and then retrograded back in 94, but that is the last time frame that Saturn was in Aquarius, and Saturn will be there until July 3rd. So it's going to ingress into Aquarius March, stay in Aquarius, and then start to retrograde and then go back into Capricorn on July 3rd. It will stay in Capricorn until December of 2020, so basically the rest of the year. So we're just getting a little taste of Saturn into Aquarius right now. At the end of this month. So this will really affect people born between 1991 and 1994. Myself, I was born in 93, so I have my Saturn in Aquarius. So this is meaning that these people will start their Saturn returns during this time. As soon as the planet ingresses into the sign that your natal Saturn is in, your Saturn return will be activated. So check what house that will be for you. Mine is going to be happening in my 6th house, so I'm expecting a lot of changes as far as health, daily routine, work-life balance, and many other things like that. Saturn in Aquarius, when it was there previously, there was a lot of changes in society because Saturn is a big timestamp. It shows certain time frames in history because it stays there for such a long time, and Saturn is like the grandfather of time basically. So it stays there for a long time, and it is really showing the age of Aquarius in its time being there. So previously in the 90s, a lot of things that happened were discoveries in regards to like space, advancements in telescopes, and just a lot of like astronomy advancements. There were a lot of liberations and wars going on during that time. There's wars going on during many time frames, but it seems like when I was looking through history, timeline, that there was a lot of liberations, overcoming regimes during this time, and it was a lot of like community things where there was civil wars going on, and just community upheavals because they were just sick of the regimes. So for example, even just like the Rodney King riots in LA, that was a big thing for the US. So it was a lot of just civil discord and changing and sort of bubbling up from what has been some injustices over time that people felt, empowered to try and change these things. There was also a lot of technological advances. Microsoft put out a few new programs during that time. Tuberculosis became a global crisis. So there was a lot of things that happened during this time frame. For Saturn in Aquarius this time around, we're going to see a lot more of, technological advances. We're going to see a lot of liberations going on. We're going to see a lot of changes with governments, and we're going to see a lot of social change. I think there will be groups of forward thinkers who come up into governments across the world to try and make social change. Just taking care of the, people who are less fortunate, maybe dispersing wealth from the really wealthy people to the very, very, very poor people who can hardly afford food to eat. Like those types of things might come into focus because Aquarius is all about the social, the big picture, society, the world. Like, what are we doing to elevate ourselves? What are the technologies that we have at our fingertips that can limit our restrictions? Saturn goes into Aquarius after Capricorn, where Capricorn was very, restricting, structuring, trying to rebuild the governments and rebuild the power structures in our societies. Now into Aquarius, it opens up a little bit. It expands. It's going to be a little bit more like a stretch. Saturn is very restricting in Capricorn. It does very well there. It grows a lot of things. And then when she, goes into Aquarius, she has a lot more flexibility. So this will probably bring up further, conversations about equality, justice, social rights, humanitarianism, and things like that within the societies across the world. Now, if you have your Saturn return happening, as I do, Saturn returns are, they not to sugarcoat it in any way, they are a challenging time for people, and it rewards people who have been putting in the hard work, putting in the effort to achieve, what they need to do. Saturn will reward loyalty, hard work, dedication, strength, longevity. If you've been working on something really, really hard, it can give rewards. It can also strike down. You can experience a job loss, you can experience a hit to the ego in some way, you can experience a demotion, or you can get the promotion. It's really just depending on how you're working with your Saturn in your chart. So, you need to see what house that's in, what are the aspects to it, what other planets are there, because that will tell you a good story. And if you feel that you have been upholding, your responsibility, if you've been growing, if you've been accepting, the challenges, the responsibility that's been given to you, and you've been working with it to the best of your ability, you've been trying to be a better person. You've been trying to go above and beyond to meet deadlines that you've been given, or to, help people when they ask for help, to have that good balance of empathy and care, and structure for how you need your life to be. So it's going to call upon all of those things, and how you've been preparing yourself for this time of your life. Because now, this time of your life, you're not 20 anymore, you're not 16, you're not flowing and learning and free. There's a fear to it. And if you are not at the point where you have been preparing for this, where you've been taking care of your home, saving up some money, finding, alternative sources of income of some way, looking into technology, and even expanding on your creativity. Saturn doesn't want to restrict creativity. Saturn wants for you to build a conducive environment so you can create. It wants you to have a schedule. It wants you to have a structure because if you don't put that into place, if you don't force yourself to have that structure in your life, you won't be able to accomplish, you won't be able to monetize that. You won't be able to help people, whatever it is that you feel called to do. It's going to, ask over the next few years, it's going to ask you those things. Are you really prepared for this? Because it's going to come, the change, the challenges, the hardship. And if you are prepared or not, that's where where the tick happens. And a lot of times people think they are prepared. I'm trying my best. A lot of people that I've known have, for an example of a Saturn return, you've went to school, you went to the military, you went to, you're pursuing your creative hobbies, you're working on what you want to do, but life kind of comes and hits you, something unexpected or something really, really challenging that is meant to happen to you. It's not always a bad thing, but it changes your ability maybe to continue on that path. And then you have to find a way to restructure that. You have to find a way to, work with what you're given. And you also have to be flexible. Saturn teaches us that things are very, people are cold. The world is a rigid, cold, difficult place. And it's important to be flexible, but also to uphold your own standards, to be flexible to the things that come your way, and think creatively to get where you want to go. It's also a no. It can sometimes be a no. It can be, you've been planning for this your whole life. Maybe you went to higher education, and you've been really working very, very hard on something that you've been wanting to do your whole life, but you kind of get to that point. Maybe you're almost there, or you get there and you realize that it's harder than you thought. It's not what you want. It's not the lifestyle that you want. It's not going to give you what you need monetarily for your time. And so it can be kind of a pain, it's like, wow, like this wasn't where I thought I would be. And I'm not prepared for it. And because, I was preparing for something else. So it's that kind of shift to reevaluate everything and reevaluate how far you've came so far in this time frame, because you're entering a new age, a new stage in your life. You're entering a maturity. You are coming to realize that things aren't maybe as easy, or things aren't as positive as you have always thought that they were, or hopeful, optimistic, all of those things. They're just things. It's a mindset. You have to learn how to, when you get to a certain age, be happy. You have to learn how to be motivated. It's not just like, when you're younger, you know, usually a lot of people feel very excited about the unknown. When you get to your Saturn return, you've learned a lot of things. You know, you do know the challenges, and you know the hardships, and you know the reality of like how people are, what life is, and the negatives and positives of that. So it's a little bit less of like a seeking energy, because you know more, you know more of how humanity is, and how the workforce is, and how people are. And so it's kind of changing that to say, I'm going to choose to be happy. I'm going to choose to be motivated. I'm going to choose to continue, you know, even though I thought I was going towards this, maybe being a teacher, being a doctor, working in, you know, finance, working for a company. Maybe that's what I thought I was going to do, but I have to restructure that. I have to refocus my energy to, you know, maybe being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, being a consultant, doing something that's a little bit more fluid and less structured. Because yes, Saturn's about structure, but Aquarius is about modernizing that. You know, how can you make something into something that will work for you? And I think that's definitely something that Aquarius is going to be about. I don't know what it will bring. You can only look from history and learn from history to, you know, expect the future. But I think we have a lot of great things to come. So it will be an exciting time, and it is exciting times. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're interested in booking a reading with me, my link is in the description box. Have a good day. Bye.